テレビ東京系列で昨日放送されたアニメ番組ポケットモンスターを見て病院に運ばれたのは685人。
Pokémon is an all-conquering media machine, one of the greatest animated TV shows ever. Some amazing movies, trading cards that have grown men literally fighting over them, toys, food, video games, home decor, Lego knockoffs, perfume, drinks, plushies, shampoo, x-ray machines and even cars. If you have thought of it, Pokémon already have their own version of it. But this is the story of how one episode, aired in 1997, almost halted everything in its tracks and changed the series forever. It's December 16th, 1997, 6:30 PM. Kids across Japan are tuning into TV channels across the country like TV Tokyo, ready to sit down and enjoy the newest episode of the new hit show Pokémon, an anime that has exploded in popularity since its first episode aired on April 1st, 1997. We follow 10-year-old Ash Ketchum and his friends as they adventure through a world inhabited by Pokémon, creatures that are captured, while some becoming both friends and allies in the quest to becoming the Pokémon champion. On the fateful night of December 16th, kids are tuning in to episode 38 of the anime titled Den-no Tenshi Porygon, or as it's commonly now referred to as Electric Soldier Porygon. It starts off like any other. Ash, Misty, Brock and Pikachu are on their latest adventure, exploring the Kanto region and making new friends along the way. Our gang, however, find themselves trying to help Nurse Joy and Professor Akihabara, who can't quite seem to figure out why the Pokemon transport isn't working. Rare Pokemon go in, but are replaced by common Pokemon when they end up at their destination. The Professor discovers that a strange gang, Team Rocket, stole his prototype Porygon and transferred themselves into the computer system in order to steal Pokemon. He is unable to administer an antivirus, as it would put Team Rocket in danger. His plan is simple. Send Ash, Misty and Brock into the computer to get Team Rocket out and enable the machine to work again. Ash and the gang don't fancy volunteering for this adventure, but they don't have much choice. They are transported into the machine, and this is where the problems begin. The gang find Team Rocket and a battle commences, which Team Rocket obviously lose. Poor guys. Maybe one day they'll catch a break. Once the battle is done, we find out that a real IT professional has sent a vaccine into the computer, which appears as a missile that fires rockets, causing extremely bright and vivid explosions, with bright flashing blue and red lights. As you can see here, I have of course slowed the footage down immensely as to not cause any further harm. Further scenes of these flashing lights occurred when another rocket is blown up by Pikachu, but more on that later. These strong flashing lights are when things went very wrong for the Pokemon franchise. Calls started being received by emergency services that children have started suffering different symptoms: nausea, dizziness, blurred vision, headaches, and in some cases even suffering seizures, convulsions, blindness, and unconsciousness. Overall, 685 viewers were taken to hospital by ambulances that night. 90% of those taken to hospital were aged between middle and high school age ranges, roughly 11 to 15, the main demographic for the Pokemon anime. Later research showed that between 5 and 10% of the viewers of the episode had mild symptoms that did not require hospital treatment. The study followed 103 of the patients over 3 years. 22% of those had seizures after the incident. 15 of those were determined to have had visually induced seizures. Many of the patients who did have seizures were found to have epilepsy. 3 hours after the episode aired, many broadcasters started reporting on the incident, and the next day was one of the top news stories in Japan. The episode was immediately pulled from rotation and to this day has not been shown in any country since. TV Tokyo, the broadcaster of the show, issued an apology, announced that the airing of the program would be suspended. Things were not looking good for Pokemon on the back of this news. Nintendo stock fell 3.2% when markets opened the next morning, and fans of the show didn't know how long this suspension would last. The president of Nintendo, Hiroshi Yamauchi, said at a press conference the following day that the video game company was not responsible since the original Pokémon game for the Game Boy was presented in black and white, and they had nothing to do with the episode. However, obviously you can see the connection that people made between Nintendo and Pokémon, with the Pokémon games being exclusively available on Nintendo Game Boy. After 4 very long months, the anime returned on the 16th of April 1998 with the airing of Pikachu's Goodbye and the battling Eevee brothers. Before the airing, a special program titled Problem Inspection Report on the Pocket Monsters anime aired, which explained to viewers what happened, and how parents and viewers should view the new advisories before all new episodes. It also had a section showing Pokemon fan drawings, as there's a real sense from the anime community that this was never going to return. Can you imagine an anime immediately stopping production for 4 months? The fans not getting any news of how things were progressing. This was the late 90s. The internet wasn't really a thing too much. There weren't many people being connected. And there was very little information of what was going on. Fans of Pokemon could have just thought that that was it. Game over. No more episodes. The episode was never dubbed in the West. It did cause a particularly odd scheduling confusion for the episode. Holiday Hijinks was meant to air on December 23rd Japan, but due to the suspension of the anime, it aired in October 2008, showing Ash's Pokemon, which had now long since evolved from their original forms. But this episode is for another video. In 2020, a tweet appeared from the official Pokemon account saying, "Porygon did nothing wrong," in reference to the Pokemon not actually being responsible in the universe. The tweet, however, was deleted shortly after, causing speculation that the company still feels responsible for the horrible incident. Porygon has never appeared as a major character in the Pokemon anime since the episode. It's had a few brief cameos, but no episodes centered around it or any of its evolutions. He's had to wear a badge of shame of being the outcast Pokemon. Yet, this shunning is completely unjustified, as Porygon didn't actually have anything to do with the strobe flashes that caused the incident. The first was from a rocket exploding, and the second was from Pikachu's Thunderbolt, causing the rocket to explode again. Porygon was just an innocent bystander trying to help the gang escape. It's quite unfair that Porygon has to wear this badge of shame just because the episode is named after it. It has to deal with all these consequences of never appearing in the anime. Don't get me wrong, it's not a Pokemon that people find as particular favourites. I don't think fans are out there calling for Porygon to be back in the anime. I don't know anyone whose favourite Pokemon is Porygon. If it is, though, obviously let me know. But it is a shame that we lose one of the original Pokemon. Maybe it will change in the future, but I highly doubt it. And the fact that Pikachu was responsible for the second incident in the same episode, he was never going to face any kind of banishment, was he? He is the face of Pokemon. He is Ash's main man and the biggest marketing tool, even to this day, for the Pokemon media franchise. It is the biggest media franchise in television, in any sort of production history. It's grossed over $100 billion. That's almost double that of Star Wars. And Star Wars had like a 30-year head start on it. Will we ever see Porygon again in the anime? It's highly, highly unlikely. The fact that the 2020 tweet was deleted so quickly does show that the company still feels responsibility and still feels shame over the actions that happened. And that's a good thing in a way. They are taking responsibility. They've not tried to hide behind the fact that, oh, we didn't know this would happen. Oh, we're sorry. Let's just move past it. They took the responsible action. They really went through it. And the fact that they had all the warnings before new episodes of the anime to inform people that, don't sit too close to the TV. If you have epilepsy, there may be scenes where you may not be able to watch, is very responsible. And I'm glad that they did that. Obviously, I'm not glad that, so many people had to suffer in order for that to come about. Thankfully, Pokemon learnt their lesson, though. There's been no other Pokemon that have starred in controversial episodes and have since been banned. Has there? Oh, wait, no, there is one. We need to talk about Jinx.